Hi booktube, this is Kelly. Thank you so much for watching my channel, Books I'm Not Reading. April 1st is the beginning of the TBR Clearout readathon hosted by Katie at Books and Things. I have posted my TBR for it. It's right, these 6 books right here. One of them is a collection of poetry, so hopefully you will have some success there. But one of the things that's been really interesting to me over the years on BookTube is hearing people talk about how many books they actually have on their physical TBR. How many books they can actually count, how many books they own that they haven't read. It's very tricky because you can see multiple bookshelves behind me, right? Some books are mine, some books are Jason's, and some books are ours. When I first talked to Jason about this video, he said, oh no, definitely like it's either a Kelly book or a Jason book in the library. And I was like, I think you and I would have a pretty fierce battle over the Dickens novels. You know, we would have, yeah, there's some other books that we would really argue over who they belong to. So, okay, I want you guys to type in the comment section how many books we own. We own more than 1,000 books. Okay. I mean, I assume that's what Jason always tells me. We own more than 1,000 books. How many books do you think that are like I'm gonna read or are more Kelly focused? How big do you think my physical TBR is? So type that number in the comments section, and we could see how close you are. I'd also love to know if you know how many books are on your physical TBR, or if you only read ebooks, how many ebooks do you own that you haven't read? I would think on an ebook, on an e-reader, it would be pretty easy to figure out how many books, but maybe I'm wrong. But I'm just curious, because I could see ebooks accumulating quite rapidly, because again, they don't take up any space, that sort of thing. Another thing that I was thinking about this week is I went to our newer used bookstore, and the prices of the books have gone up, which is going to make shopping there in the future more difficult. And I'm guessing the same is true at the other used bookstore, that the prices are all going to go up, because the price of everything is going up. But it made me think like, you know, yes, like this is why I'm doing this, like trying to focus on books that I have owned, that I do want to read, and, you know, trying. Last year I got a little, I mean, let's face it, I got out of hand. I kind of lost my mind during Booktober, and I just went on this huge buying spree. I'd love to know if you know how many books are on your physical TBR. So I went through the library and counted. Now, this is gonna be like a rough number, right? I will tell you, like, so if some books were clearly me, okay? Some books were, you know, maybe Jason actually bought them, but I'm like, oh, I do wanna read them. So I counted those. And then there were huge sections that were so clearly Jason. I'm not like, no, like that is not part of my physical TBR. Give you a couple examples. So if you see those 3 orange books up there, that is a 3-volume biography of Graham Greene. I'm sure it is excellent. But I haven't read anything by Graham Greene, and 3-volume biography. Like, I just, no. Another 3-volume set that we own, the Gulag Archipelago by Solzhenitsyn. Hope I'm saying that right. So yeah, these are definitely Jason books. Another Jason book. We've owned this for so long. I can't even believe it. The Scandal of the Season. Now, this does look like, maybe I would read that. I'm not sure. But it's a Jason book. Now, if Jason bought me a book, even if I'm like, like, even if I have mixed feelings about it, I still counted it as part of my physical TBR because it was a gift from him. Now, we do own multiple editions of some things. So sometimes those were counted and sometimes they weren't. So for instance, we own some annotated books. One, we own the annotated Secret Garden, and we own the annotated Wind in the Willows. Yeah, and I really want to read both of those editions. We own other editions, which I did not count, and obviously I've already read The Secret Garden, I've already read The Wind in the Willows. Love those books. I really want to return to The Secret Garden at some point. So I think reading an annotated edition would be really, really interesting. So there were times that I counted that. There were other sections of our library that were really, really tricky. So just for starters here. So right here, you can see the beginning of the poetry section. Now, Jason has, he's really been the poetry guy. Like I keep saying that I'm gonna try, and I haven't really tried. Almost all the books in the poetry section, with the exception of our selected poems of William Wordsworth. Like these are, and there's a couple of Mary Oliver books that I managed to pick up at a used bookstore. So, but almost all of the poetry books are Jason, right? So there's like, and there's also like biographies about poets. This is a 2-volume, you can't see it, it's just off the edge of the screen. It's just a 2-volume biography of Yeats. I'm sure it's amazing. I'm not gonna read it though. I just know myself well enough to know I just don't, yeah, I'm just not gonna get to it. And in truth, I should be reading poetry more than I should be reading biographies of poets, maybe. I'm not sure. Anyway, so there were some things that I discovered though as I was going through our library that I keep forgetting I really do want to read. Some of these books have been on my TBR for yeah, a very, very long time. One of them, a couple of these books have Shakespeare connections. One of them is called In the Beginning, The Story of the King James Bible, How It Changed a Nation, a Language, and a Culture. And I know Shakespeare is referenced in this book, which is by Alistair McGrath. Let's see when it was published. This is, of course, the paperback edition. So this says copyright 2001. I think I've had this longer than I've been married to Jason. So that means I've owned it for more than 20 years. Oh my goodness. Anyway, but I'm like, I kind of want to put it on my library cart to remind myself, like, we need to read this book. Another book that Jason got for me, I think somewhere in my Pulitzer journey. So if you're new to my channel, I've read all the books that have won the Pulitzer Prize for Fiction. Very excited to see what the next book is, which will be announced, I believe, in May. But one of the first books I read for the Pulitzer Project which I did long before I had a booktube channel, long before I even knew the booktube existed. So I read The Late George Apley by John Marquand, who was an author I was completely unfamiliar with. And anyway, so Jason bought me this beautiful, more recent edition of Wickford Point. I have not read this. I have a feeling that I've owned this book sometime between, I acquired it sometime between 2008 and 2010, would be my guess. So again, it's quite a long time to have, and so I need to get to this. The other one, I'm the last person on BookTube to read Maggie O'Farrell, an Irish author, Hamnet, and the movie's gonna be coming out, and I need to read this book. So I may put this on the cart again as a reminder, if I have, I don't know, something, I speed through something and I have a little extra time, maybe I could get to Hamnet. I don't want to add to my high priority TBR because it's already, as I've said in previous videos, I haven't really read, I think I've read 3, soon to be 4 books on my high priority TBR for 2025, and yeah, so I don't want to add to that. 27 books, my Goodreads goal is typically 50 books a year. So my physical TBR, I know you've been waiting. This is my rough estimate, okay, is 230 books. Which, on one hand, as I was going through the bookcases, I felt pretty good about, because I was like, oh, I've read a lot of these books. Or, again, there were authors that I just completely skipped through. I mean, we have an entire Sylvia Plath section, and it's not, I'm not saying that I'm never going to read any of those books, but I would have never bought them. I would have never owned them. Those are clearly Jason books. We have a huge section of Philip Roth, Salman Rushdie, and I'm not saying that those aren't worthwhile authors. I'm just saying, I wouldn't have just gone out and bought them. So as I was going through the library, I felt pretty good about the books that are very much Kelly books. I've read a lot of them, so that was exciting. The library I've either read or is more of a Jason book than a Kelly book. And again, that was tricky. It was really, really tricky. I would love to hear what you think of my 230 books to be read. Yeah, again, your own physical TBR, if you know what it is, I would love to hear about that. As always, if you don't feel comfortable leaving a comment, you can leave an emoji. You can give this video a thumbs up, which I really do appreciate. So, I hope you're doing well, BookTube. Remember to be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and I'll see you soon with another video. Bye.